All right, let's get started. This is our Python level 1 class, and we learned the string and the list last week. We did not finish the list, but we only get into it. And I also give the class homework. I hope the homework is not that difficulty. Um, but I only get 2 submissions. That surprised me. Um, I wanted to wait for more students to join, then we will come back to talk about the homework. So the students will learn from it. And I got a very good submission, and I wanted that student to present the homework when the time comes. But let's just continue what we stopped at last week. So let me share my screen. So we stopped at this slide last week. So we understand that we can add an item to a list. Okay. So how do you add an item to a list? You use a pen, right? We talk about that string, it is immutable. It's an immutable object. So that's why you cannot change its value, but you can do concatenation. When you do concatenation, that means you create a new string, okay? Here you see the list Q point to list this one, and then you append an item to it. It is still the same list, but you have more items in it. So list is not immutable. It is an immutable object. Now we talk about a very complicated concept, and that is also one of the feature of Python. That's called list comprehension. So we wanted to help you understand what is list comprehension. So Jack, can you help me read this paragraph?
List comprehension consists of an expression followed by a for clause, then zero or more for or if clauses. The result will be a list resulting from evaluating the expression in the context of the for and if clauses which follow it.
Thank you very much, Jack. So I hope you understand it when you read this paragraph. And list comprehension, it involves in the for, okay, clause. And it can have if clause in it as well. And this is the expression. This is the expression, okay? So how to understand this? If we put it in English, it is straightforward. It doesn't happen in other languages. So that's why we wanted to spend some time on it. So here, fresh fruit, it is a list. It has 3 items. Okay, 3 items, they are all strings. Okay, so now you see this for clause. We will spend at least a week to talk about the for clause in the future when we talk about the loop. So for weapon in fresh fruit, actually this is a perfect loop block statement. So if you have this, it creates a loop for you. It creates a loop. But here, let's do not do not think about the loop itself, though it is actually a loop. Okay, so it is called a list comprehension. So let's understand this one. You see for weapon in fresh fruit. Then you see you have weapon here. We know what strip means. We learned it last week. Strip, that means take the leading space and taking the ending space out. If your string has leading space or the ending space, it will just take it out. So the result will be a string without leading space and the ending space. So that's the strip means. Now, what does weapon mean? You see, here is weapon and here is also weapon. So this must match each other exactly. So we will treat this weapon as an representation of every item in the list. So if you do a loop, each iteration you get into the loop, okay, you get into the list, you will pull this string out in the first iteration as banana, and you now store banana into this variable called weapon, and then you use this variable, you say strip. So you are taking the leading space and the ending space out. We do not have an ending space here, so that's why you see you got a banana. Leading space is gone. And after the first iteration, you get into the second iteration. Now weapon stores the second item of the item, not the second item in the list. So you get a login query. And now you strip it. So that's why you got this. And then so on. So if you have multiple items, it will just pull it out one by one, and then do this expression. And then you get the result. So you see, you get that result, and it's a list here because you put the brackets here. You see the brackets. So that's why it's still a list here. So that is why it's called list comprehension. If you learn more in the future, this actually is just a loop, okay? But it's put it in a very simple way. It's not a complete loop block. It's called a list comprehension. It's pretty much you get into the list, you get every item out, and then you do the expression. You apply the expression to it. So you get the result, and then it's easier for us to understand this one, right? So can you explain this to me, Megan? So what does this mean? This list comprehension? Try your best. Megan.
So it means that for every item in the list, you'll multiply it by 3.
Exactly. Thank you very much, Megan. So you say Vic is a list. I don't know what happens. Okay, Vic is a list. It has 3 numbers in it. And the X, actually, X, you can also use a weapon, and you can use another variable. As long as this X match this X, that's okay. So for every number in list vector, you multiply it by 3. So that's why you get this number, right? You get 6, 12, 18. I hope you guys got it, and it's straightforward. I don't think it is very hard to you guys. So it is called a list comprehension. It has an for clause. Okay. So that you have in the for clause, then you may have like the multiple for and if clauses. And then you have an expression and you apply the expression to the item in the list. All right, so let's move on. So we finish list comprehension. Okay, the second one we wanted to do today is to learn how to sort a list. So you use listed dot sort. This is a function, okay? It sorts object of list using compare function if given. So if you given a function here, it will use the result of this function to sort it. So I will give you the example. So this method does not return any value, but it changes the original list. So you use the list and then you say sort. Okay? You say sort. And then you get your list is changed. Your list is a sort. Okay? So let me give you this code. I want you guys to try it. Okay? Not actually, it's just this 2 lines of code. Okay, you see the syntax for list.sort is that you can say reverse. If you set reverse to true, okay, then it will be descending. If you do not, then it will be ascending. Key will be in the function if you wanted to use a function to sort it. And I will show you how to use the function. Okay, the first thing, let's just do that. Can you guys do this one? So let me go to my Python. I just paste this to code, 2 lines of code here. Course is a list. It has 4 different courses in it, right? Then there's a course sort. So now let me see what is course. You see the sorts by the course name alphabetically. They use the first letter. Okay. So that's why you say BMW comes first, then Ford, then Mitsubishi, then VW. Okay. That's the result you got. That's straightforward. I think we all understand it. No problem on it. All right. So can we do this? Let me give you this line of code now. Then now let's run it. Course sort, the reverse set it to true. But you see, I have key equal to len. What does it mean? So I want you guys to take a look at the result first. Then we can talk about this. So if you can make sense out of it, that's great. Okay, that's great. So can you take a guess why we got this result in here? Andrew?
Yeah, sorry, I'm thinking.
Okay, so let me help then. Not a problem because this is a class, okay? So you see why we get this result. Let's pay attention to the key equal to len. So you are using the function len to sort it. So we sort I should change my wording. We are sorting based on the result of the key. So what is the key? It's LEN. So what does LEN mean? LEN means is a length. Okay, so that's why it's sorted by the length. The length you see here is the length. It is the longest. VW is the shortest, and you see reverse, right? It is
All right.
reverse. So that's why the longest comes first, and then this one, then that one, then that one. So you are using the result of the length to sort the list. Does this make sense to you?
Yeah, it does.
So I want you all get that. So that means, okay, you can do something. Actually, you can apply a function to all the items in the list, and then you get the result, and then you sort it by that result. Okay, so it does not have to be LEN. It can be anything else, any other functions. Okay, you can define other functions and apply it to the list when you do sorting. All right, hopefully this makes sense to you. Okay, next one then. Python has a built-in sort function. This function is called sorted. Sorted. So it takes in one required argument. It is an iterable. You may not know what is an iterable, but actually, you know, a list is an iterable, and a string is also an iterable. So anything you can loop through it, you can traverse over it. So it's an iterable object. So if you use a sorted function, it is built-in function, you just provide an iterable object to it, then it will sort it. Okay, key, again, it can be a function. Reverse, again, is how you want it to sort. It's ascending or descending. So these two, we just learned it. And this is the list that you want to pass into it. So you say I have a course, okay, I have this course, and I say I use the function built-in function sorted. Okay, if you do that, you will create a new list. This does not change the original list. You say you use list.sort. You change the list itself. Here you use a sorted, it will just create a new list. Okay, create a new list. The original list is not affected. So let me give you this code and want you guys to run it as well. Okay, use that. So let me run this one as well. And now you see what is the new class. You see it's still this way. If you do not provide a function to sort it, if it's a string, it was sorted based on the alphabetical order. Okay, if it's a number, it was sorted by the value of the number. If you provide a function, then it was sorted based on the result of the function. Okay, so you see the new cost now is like this. And if you see what is the cost, it did not change. It is the last one here. So if you use a sorted function, it will generate a new list that is sorted based on what you want. All right. Of course, you can also use this. So I'm not going to run this one. I want you to run this one because you already run the last one. I think this makes sense to you. You guys can run this code. Take a look at the result. What is the new cost? All right, so we finished the list comprehension and the sort. So let's just do a little bit more. So this I already, emphasis on it. Okay, I already emphasized on it. So I say listed dot sort. It does not change. It does change the list itself. Sorted. It does not change. It creates a new list. All right. So I said learning string is critical to a programming language. Once you understand the string and its functions, now it's easier to understand the list, right? Because you see a lot of functions and they have almost the same meaning. So you say this share many methods that a string has. It can be slashed as well. Some common operators are shown here. So you can get the length, okay, of a list. You can do concatenation, okay. Of course, you can use append to append an item to it. Here you create a new list. It's a concatenation. It will have 6 items. But if you use this one and append this one, append the second one, then you only get 4 items. Okay, and the 4th item itself is a list. Okay, all right, and you can also use in multiply. So you see the list, you get the multiply, which we use a string multiply number, and you'll remember that we use help A times 4, then you get a help A. Here you say multiply, and you get 4 items in the list. It's called a repetition. Okay, this is checking the membership if 3 in the list or not. Okay, so here 3 is in the list, so it returns true. For a string, you can check if a character in that string or not. Same thing. You see here 4x in a list. Okay, so that means it's in a loop. It's a loop. Okay, so then you can use the 4x in a string. It's also a loop. It will create a loop. 4x in a string, that means you are trying to pull out the characters one by one. You use 4x in a list, you are trying to pull the list item out one by one. Okay, so that's what you got. So they share a lot of things. So if you learn the string, it helps you understand other data types quickly. Okay, so let me do a quiz. So which of these is the correct code for creating a list of names? Can you guys give me your answer? Okay, I got 1 answer. I need more. I only get 1 answer. Okay, if you do not give me an answer, then I will call your name, okay? Okay, I got a 2. All right, so let me ask it. Jack, what is your answer? Okay, you get right. So Megan, what's your answer? All right. Okay, the correct answer is, okay, let me ask you to explain it, Jack. What's your answer and why?
I can't really explain it.
Okay. So Jesse, can you explain it, Jesse?
I'm not sure either. I just joined class.
All right. So let me explain it, okay? So when you create a list, you use a square bracket, okay? We will learn this one right after this, okay? So this actually creates a tuple, it's not a list, okay? And you see the difference between C and D is that in D, you see this John, Harry, Jesse, John, Harry, Harry. They are not a string, they are variables. You needed to make it a string, so that's why you needed to use quotes. So that is why. So C and D, that's the only difference, right? So it's a name, it's a list of names you expect they are the strings, right? It's not a variable. It's not a variable. Of course, you can put a variable here if it has a value. And who knows if John equal to 35, or John equal to John, or John equal to another world, whatever, right? So another data type, you really don't know. So that's why C is the right answer. Okay, the same thing for A. She uses the right hand side. That's variables. Okay, if you wanted to use a list, then you have to use square bracket, right? Can you guys give me an answer to this one? And let me put it this separate here, so I understand your answers for this question. Okay, I got 2 correct answers. I got 3 answers. I need 1 more. All right, so let me ask Megan to explain it. So what is your answer and why?
I got D because when you're looking for -1, you usually go one from the right of the list.
Perfect, Megan. So in Python, if we talk about the index, if you say -1, take index value -1. So that's the purpose of Python. -1 is always give you the last item. Okay, so the last item has the index value -1. Of course, you have to specify -1. If you really wanted to say index here, you will not get -1. You will get 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, you will get an index value 5. Okay, but you see -1, and hurry, that's the last one. Okay, all right, move on. But before I go to tuple, because tuple should be very quick and it's just in like a browse of list. So let me spend some time talk about the homework. Can I get Megan to present your homework? You know why you did it that way?
So I made it so that I got a random number which had 6 to 10 digits. Then I changed X into a string, and then I made a variable to store the sum of all the digits in X. And then I use the for loop to add each digit to I.
Perfect. Megan, I'm impressed by your homework submission. That's really good. For other students, I know that we have not learned the for loop yet. So we have not learned the loop yet. So Megan is ahead of me on that, and that's good. So if without the for loop, how can we do it? So on line 3, Megan already converted the number to a string, right? And you remember that we learned the Z field. Z field can fill your numerical string to target the length. And we said that the number will be 6 digits to 10 digits. So if you use Z fill 10, so it will fill leading zeros to make your string 10 digits. So once you have that, then you just need to use X index value 0 plus X index value 1. You just add every digit together, and then you will get the sum of all the digits in this number. Leading 0 does not change the sum, right? So it will not affect the result. So you can do that. Those are all the skills we have learned so far. Okay. So, I give this student to the master degree students. I do not think they did as well as you did, Megan. And when I had my first Python class with some young kids, they may be like middle school kids, and the students used the Z field and they did the work for me, and I was amazed. They did very good. They understand Python very well. So you guys are very smart. It doesn't mean the master degree students is better than you guys. So it's really good. I'm impressed by your solution, and you use the random inter. That's very good. Thank you, Megan. All right, so let's move on. Let's move on to another data type. So we learn the string, we learn the list. So today we are going to learn the twin brother of list. It's called a tuple. Okay, a tuple is a sequence of immutable objects. Okay, the sequence of immutable objects. The difference between tuples and lists are, what are the difference? The tuples cannot be changed, and the tuples use parentheses, whereas this uses square brackets. So I just give you guys that quiz, right? You see here, you can create a tuple this way. Tuple equal to just list a bunch of items and separate them using comma. That's good. You create a tuple. You can also create a tuple. This here you get an empty tuple. Just use parentheses. And the more formal way to create a tuple is doing it this way. So list you use a square bracket, and tuple you just use a parentheses. And you get these tuples. And the rest of the slides, it's just a mirror of the list. Okay, so let's just go quickly on it. So access the item in the tuple is similar to accessing an item in the list. It's also similar to accessing an item in a string. You just use the index value. So for a tuple, if you use index value, you get the first item. And then you can use the second. So this is this an index value. This you get the third item. Okay, so you can get that. So let me first copy this code and give it to you. So you wanted to try, can try that. All right. Okay. As I mentioned in the previous slide, tuple is immutable. So that's why you cannot change it. So I want you guys to try this statement to see if it will give you a problem. It will give you an error. So let me give you that. All right. So let me just do it quickly on my slide. Okay. So I will say t equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 0, and then hello. I will do it. And then I will say t2 equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. You see, I get an error. Why? Because once you create a tuple, once it is created, you cannot change it anymore. You cannot change it. It is immutable. It is immutable. So that's why if you do this, you will get an error. Tuples may be nested. I'm not going to talk about this one because when you learn list, okay, you already know how to nest one to it. Okay. So that's why. All right, so you see you can nest another tuple. You see you create a new tuple, and you put a t here. T itself is a tuple. All right, so now you put another tuple here. So tuple U only has 2 items. The first item is T, which is a tuple. Second item is also a tuple. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's also a tuple. Okay. All right. So move on. So you have listed, then why do we use tuple? So the main purpose is that tuple is immutable, and then you can use it as key. So it will be faster in computing, because once it is created, you cannot change it. So that's why it is much faster than you traverse over a list. Okay? So that's the difference there. So why, right? It also makes you code safer. Why? Because it's what protected. You cannot change it. Once it is created, you will not be able to change it. So that's why this is safer. Some tuples can be used as dictionary keys, especially tuples that contain immutable values like strings, numbers, and other tuples. You can use it as the key. What is the key? What is dictionary? That's the next topic we're going to learn. Okay, so the key is unique and it cannot be changed. You cannot use this as a key because it's mutable. Once it is mutable, then it's hard for the system to find it. So it can be changed in the middle of it. So that's why it's very hard. So you do not want to use an immutable object as a key. All right, let me do the quiz now. Which one is correct? I get 2 answers. I need a 3. There's 3 answers. I need 2 more. All right, I got a 4. So I wanted to check it. So Jack, what is your answer and why? Jack, just your thinking. Okay. All right. So let me ask Jesse. So what's your answer and why?
My answer is B because that's what we learned.
Okay, very good. Yes. B is the right answer. This is mutable and the tuples is immutable. Very good answer. Okay. This one. Very good, Megan. Megan, you have the right answer. I need more. You're right, Jack. Very good work, Jack. And I get 4 answers. I need 1 more. Okay. I get 3 different answers. So what answer, Jack? Can you explain it? And what's your answer and why? Jack.
I got B, and the
Mhm.
only why was because I saw there was like an equal sign equaling 1, and I didn't think so that was right.
Okay, very good. We just talked about that tuple here, tuple, okay, it's immutable. So you cannot assign a new value to it. So that's why this will give you an error. Here, it will just print out the third item of the tuple. Here is a slash, right? So start from 0, that means from the beginning, and then it ends at the 4th one. So you get the first 3 items. Here is just like that one. So you count from the right, you get the second item. Okay. All right, very good work. Let's move on. What is the answer for this one? You know? This one is a little bit of challenging. So I want you guys to take a look at it and then tell me why. Okay, I get 3 answers. But the 3 answers are all not right. You can change your answer. I get 4 answers. They're not right. This one is challenging. Okay, so let me help you guys. It's also because this topic I have not taught it. I just taught it in the list. So I think this should be straightforward to us. But there is a challenge here. A is in the right one because it will not give you an error. You just assign a new tuple value to variable e. So e now points to the new tuple. And the C is correct. It will not give you an error. You just concatenate it. And the E itself is a tuple, right? Then you just do the concatenation. So you get a new tuple now. G now pointed to a new tuple. This tuple has more items in it, 3 more items in it. Okay. D is also correct. Why? Because E is a tuple and here is also a tuple. You are doing the concatenation. All right. The only problem is the B. So you are doing the tuple. This is a number. You cannot do this operation. You cannot do the operation between the tuple and the number. Okay. 4, it's not a tuple. So you cannot do concatenation that way. All right. So that's why I say it's a little bit challenging because it's a little bit deep under the surface. All right. Let's move on. All right, quickly go through this one. We do not use it much in the basic Python class, but I want you to have this concept. So a set is an unordered collection with no duplicate elements. So the uniqueness of a set is that no duplicates. So basic use include membership testing and eliminating duplicate interests. So you just test it, okay? If you want to remove the duplicates and you want to check if a uniqueness, a unique item, and if that's in this set or not. You use set function to create a set, okay? This is a built-in function set, okay? So you use it to create a set. So let me give you an example how to create it. You say I use a equal to set. So I give it a string. I want you guys to try this one. All right. So then you print out what is there. So let me do this. Then let me ask what is A. And you see here, it's not sorted, okay? It is not sorted. It's not ordered in another word, but it does get the unique items in this string. So you create a set, it has 5 items here. They are unique, but all the duplicates are removed. All right. So you can do this one again. So if you want to try it, so let me give you this one again, so you can do those operations. But I'm not going to do the operation. I just want you to be aware of it. You can try that yourself, okay? So a minus operation between 2 sets. So that give you the result letters in A, but not in B. Okay, you can run the pipe. Okay, so that means you're doing the combination. Okay, combination. That's in A or B. Right? If you use ampersand, that's the and sign. That means it's the common. So it must be in both A and B. Okay, if you use this symbol, Okay, it's in A or B, but not both. It is the opposite of this one. Okay, it's opposite of this one. If you have two sets and you do these operations, that's what it meant. Okay, so we load the string, list, tuple, and the set. The next one will be dictionary. We will learn it next week. Okay, so sets can only contain immutable elements, but sets itself are mutable unless you create an immutable set. Okay, so in the set, all the items should be of a type that's immutable. So that means it can be a tuple, it can be a string, it can be a number. Okay, and these are some operations. Okay, so you can get the length, you can check the membership, and then you will see if it's a subset, superset. Okay, then it's a union. So that's all the operations and the methods of a set. Right? It's continuous intersection. It's just that one. Okay, when I want you guys to be aware of this. When you do this, it is an operation. Okay, this is the operation. When you do this actually is a function or a method of a set. Okay, the result will be the same. They are equivalent. They are equivalent. But okay, when you do it this way, that's a method or a function. All right, so let's move on. Mutable set has add up the pop remove KDA methods. So if you wanted to learn more, you can read this website about set. Okay. So if you wanted to learn more about set, you can go to read that. All right, I think that's what I have for today. I have this homework. So I want you to take a look at this homework. I have two strings. Please write Python scripts to achieve this. Convert each string to a list using scripts. Needed to preserve the word and the number. Okay, how to convert a string to a list. Think about that. I taught you before, how can you convert a string to a list? But you need to preserve the word. So that means you cannot separate this one. Okay? You cannot separate this one. It's a one word. Preserve the word. All right. And you print out the name of each list. So once you get the list, you wanted to print out the name of it. You will get two lists, right? Then find out the name of the fourth item in list one and compare it to the value of the fourth item of list two. Okay, so let's say the fourth item here is practices. So what's the name? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? The fourth value here is 3. You compare it. Okay. Print out the true if it is big. Print out the false if it is not big. All right. You cannot use if condition to do this. I wanted to use this. Something looks like this, printed out. Okay. So this is an comparison printed out. So I will give you guys this homework. Hopefully it's not too hard to you guys. So just practice your skills writing Python scripts. If you guys have question, let me know. Let me stop sharing and also stop recording. So let me just stop that.